Today we'll be turning this set of ingredients into a delicious honey custard pudding. Stay tuned for more. Hey guys, today we're making a honey pudding, and the first thing we're going to do is get our whole milk. Now this is Jersey whole milk. We're getting this on the boil, but we're not going to boil it fully. So we just want it to come up to just before boiling for this. And the next thing we're going to do is separate the egg yolks from the egg whites. Now always crack your eggs onto a flat surface if you can, because that just prevents the shell from going into the eggs. Prevents the shell going into the eggs or whatever it is you're planning on doing. Just separate out the yolks. Separate. And these will go into the bin momentarily. Come on, open. Sometimes there's a problem with very good quality eggs. It's that the membrane is very difficult to actually break with your thumb without getting shell into it. So that's our egg yolks taken care of. Let's give the milk a small whisk. What we're going to want to do as well to this is add in some vanilla extract. Now probably about a third of the bottle. Spot on. And then we'll give that a whisk as well. Right, we want this on a medium low heat. And you do want to check the temperature to make sure that it doesn't boil. At the minute it's like 68 degrees, so I'm going to turn that down because that's going to boil over very quickly. It's amazing how fast milk heats up compared to, say, water. So the egg whites we are done with. Egg yolks. Going to want to whisk it up with the heavy cream, or whipping cream in this instance, and your good quality honey. Now, this is honey from Richmond Park in London. I would usually use honey from our local farm shop, but unfortunately I didn't have any in the cupboards. So use the best quality honey that you have for these sorts of recipes. Use the best quality ingredients you can afford. If you can only afford runny honey from Walmart or Asda or Tesco's or wherever, then that's fine. Now that needs a whisking as well, so I'm just going to whisk this. There we go. Now you want to mix this and whisk it well, because in a moment I'm going to add the xanthan gum. Now you do not need much xanthan gum, teaspoon at the most, because it thickens virtually everything it touches. Xanthan gum is readily available on places like Amazon. You can get it in some baking aisles of supermarkets, but it will thicken. I can feel it's already thickened what I can only describe as the honey custard here. It's thickened it quite substantially. It's turned it from a watery mix down to quite a thick consistency like custard. Okay, so the milk is at a very good temperature. I'm going to turn the heat off because it's just before boiling. And I'm going to add a ladle of the milk and mix. Add another ladle and mix, because you want to do it this way, because otherwise you scramble the eggs and that's no fun. And more milk. You want to do it a little bit at a time. Don't want to go too crazy. Could use an immersion blender for this as well. In fact, may not be the worst idea, using an immersion blender. But the point of the xanthan gum is, like I say, it thicken absolutely anything, even thicken water. Unfortunately, the xanthan gum's pooled on the top. But that's not a problem if we use the immersion blender. So I'm going to get that out. So, you know, these problems do happen in the kitchen. So out comes the immersion blender. So you know what to do if you see it. There we go. Let's pulse this up a bit. Going to leave that on the side there and leave that sitting in that pot. Fine, it's not leaking, so I don't mind. So that's just blended up all the xanthan gum back into the mixture, because it did catch a few bits. Take the whisk out for a moment. And in with a bit more milk. And whisk away. And there comes a point of diminishing returns, and I'm at that point, so I'm going to take that out, rest that on the side, and put it back into the milk and stir continuously. Now what you have here is an incredibly rich custard, and if you're going to use this as a dessert custard, it's quite thin at the moment due to all the milk, but if I turn the heat on it will thicken and reduce. So let's get that going. We don't want it on a high heat, just a medium-low heat, and you'll want to constantly whisk. So whisk that with my left hand, grab the spoon, just give that a small taste. Oh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is potentially the nicest custard I have ever made. Sweetness from the vanilla, natural sweetness from the honey. Now if you can get honey from a local beekeeper, then absolutely do. Highly recommend it. I'm sure they'll be happy to sell to you. You just want to keep stirring and stirring. Now if you were adding cornstarch into this, you'd use about 3 heavy tablespoons of cornstarch. But xanthan gum does the job just as well. I may add a bit more in and use the Immersion blender. In fact, it may not be the worst idea. Just a tiny bit more. Not even a level teaspoon is going in, but it will make a difference. So, just going to remove that from the heat for a moment. Just want to make sure everything is incorporated. It will bubble up, but that's fine. Okay, that's very well incorporated. I have made quite a mess on my side here, but such is life. I will be tidying that up. There we go. That's thickened up quite well. Just want to keep stirring and stirring on a low heat. Just go get a fresh spoon. The honey flavour is so potent in this. And it coats the back of a spoon. You do the old test. That is ready to dish up. Now what you want to do when you dish it up, you'll want to strain it. You want to strain it first, just to catch any large lumps that may have scrambled. And then sieve it. So just, you can either strain it through a colander, some people do, or use a fine mesh strainer or a sieve. But I'll be back in a moment because I'm going to try another sample of this and let my glamorous assistant try some, and then I'll be straining it. So I've got everything set up now to strain, so I'm just going to take the custard and pour it through our strainer. Trying carefully not to go over the lip of the jug. And using our trusty rubber spatula to get the rest out. Now this will also make an absolutely fantastic ice cream if you were to freeze it. Just make sure I can get all of this mixture out that I can. But clearly not all of it wants to come out. But that's fine. That can sit in the jug and that can get washed up. Yeah, do another quick taste test. Oh, that is so good. Very good. Right, so get your trusty scales. Now I've got 2 large ramekins here, for which I'm going to put in about 150 grams of the mixture. or thereabouts to bet all. 100, 30, come on. Come on, 150. It's going to be like the petrol pumps where you put it in and there we go. And then it just goes over. Okay, next one. That's rarity. They're actually the same weight. Now, one good thing that the immersion blending has done is it's added air to the mixture, which will make it quite light. Now, the rest of these ramekins I'm going to do in 100 gram batches until I have utilised them all. So, bit of slow pouring. There we are, that's 100 grams. Tell you what, these old goo pots do really come in handy. Something like this. I'm actually getting good at the pouring as well. Stopping dead on 100. Or just going slightly over at like 101. Like that one, that was 101. Now, I have a feeling this is going to be the last one. Well, I'm going to make these 110 then in that case. There's a bit more left. 110. .10. And well, how's that? 110, dead on. So that did 4 ramekins of 110 grams each and 2 larger ramekins of 150 grams each. So if you need to do the maths, that's 300 for this, 440 for this, 740 grams altogether with what you have just mixed up. You do lose some measurements to evaporation and what have you, so do factor that in. So, but if you're going to do this over the smaller ramekins, this will just make about 7 or 8 of them, so just bear that in mind depending on the size that you're going for. But now it's time to put them in the fridge and let them set for a couple of hours. So I've just taken this out of the freezer. It's had about an hour and a bit in there so far, and I've just given it a dusting of cinnamon on the top. It's definitely thick. It's a soft pudding. It's starting to set, but it's not set yet. The others will definitely take a little while to set, but this is going to be enjoyable nonetheless. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.